From Absegami High School, Comcast Cable Channel 5 presents high school wrestling. Tonight it's the 2007 Region 8 Consolations and Finals. With John Vogeting, I'm John Mondelli Voge. We're going to pick up some of the matches in the Consolations, which is very important because the winner of these matches still go to Atlantic City.
Yes, the top four in each weight class get awards, but the top three go on to the next level in Atlantic City.
Okay, Voge, nice voice you have, by the way. Anyway, 125, we have Nico Lopez of Paulsboro High School, and he's going up against C.J. Conger of St. Augustine.
Lopez came in as the number 2 seed in this tournament. Won his opening match against Frank Higgins of Washington Township 8-2, but he lost to a familiar face in the semifinals. Lost to Rich Bushby of Kingsway 8-1. That put Lopez in the wrestlebacks. He won his first match to get to this point, and is meeting the number 5 seed in the tournament, C.J. Conger of St. Augustine.
Okay, Voge, we're 15 seconds in. We see no score. And I'll tell you, in that semifinal match between Bushby and Lopez, it was Bushby who went on the attack on his feet right away, got the quick takedown, and back points in the first period, and it was all uphill for Lopez after that.
Yes. Yes, you know, getting the first points is so important in a lot of these matches. And Bushby made no mistake. He was out for a little revenge and did very well in that match. And of course, he's got another year to go. We're going to see him in the finals, and he's got another year to go yet.
Right, and here we go. Lopez, that's what we're used to seeing him do.
Get in there and get the early takedown.
And a 2-0 lead. Nice mix in districts, but District 31, Voge, obviously the strongest district this year.
No question. They have 9 in the finals today. District 32, which used to be struggle for a while, has the second most with 7. Districts 29 and 30 each have 6 wrestlers apiece.
Lopez trying to hold on.
Again, Conger commands the number 6 seed. He won a match against Andrew Corbett of Shalik, 12-1. He won against Josh Caban of Millville, 10-5, before losing to the number 1 seed, Anthony Luma, to drop into the wrestlebacks. Won his first wrestleback match 9-1 over Winterbottom of Oakrest to move into this position to wrestle Lopez.
And with the escape, it's 2-1. Final 30 seconds here in the first. And by the way, at 103, Higgins of Washington Township finishing 3rd. We'll try and get you the results as they come along. We'll actually show them actually during the final, I would assume, right, Bo?
Yes.
Stalemate, we go back to the center. 12 seconds left. 11, I should say. First period.
That was James Higgins of Washington Township, because there are brothers on that team. James, the younger one, and the smaller one. Higgins, only a freshman, racing 3rd and getting a trip to Atlantic City as a freshman.
That 103 is a loaded weight class. Another loaded weight class, Voge, we had a chance to see during the semifinals. The 4 semifinalists at 189 pounds, all sophomores.
All sophomores.
That's unbelievable for a weight class, an upper weight.
Yep. Lopez trailing 2-1 as they start the second period. Right? I'm sorry, leading 2-1 starting the second period. Conger had choice. Took the defensive position or the down position. Lopez, pretty much during the year against a wrestler with ability, with extra ability, has struggled with wrestlers taller than him.
Nice season for him, though. Over the 100-win mark for the season. Only, I think, has 5 losses this year.
Over 100-win mark for his career.
First career, yes. Yep. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Four wrestlers on Paulsboro's team this year that went over the 100-win plateau. Silvestro, Hester in the upper weights, and of course Wurtenberger and Lopez in the lower weights.
There's the escape. We're tied at 2.
Again, a simple sit-out move, but with the height that Conger has, he was able to get his legs out and turn in, and that creates the escape situation. Ron Roberts is the official on the mat in charge, being assisted by Sean Felkins.
Lopez has Conger in a little bit of trouble. He can bring up that leg. could get some back points.
Near side cradle. He's got to bury his head, and he's going to walk it around.
Condra with a great job, Vogt, fighting that off. Trails 4-2.
A great job to stay off his back, because that very easily could have been 2 points for a near fall. Condra rolls through, Granby roll. Lopez stayed right with it. Pretty much a full house already.
We know they sold out for the semifinals, because I was talking to some people earlier that could not get in.
I think there was a lot of anticipation in the semis for some of those key matchups.
Ten seconds to go in the period. Nico Lopez with a 4-2 lead. It's a big point for Condra if he can get out, Vogt, because Lopez has a chance to score another one. Having his choice in the third. We have a little injury time, it looks like, for Condra. Meanwhile, Vogt, I do want to mention at 119, we can go to that match right now. Zach Cohen, a freshman, who I think Vogt's very impressive. I saw him in the semifinals against the #1 seed, only lose 5-3, a freshman for Williamstown. Williamstown has some pretty good young wrestlers.
They do. They don't have an overabundance of wrestlers, but the ones they have are very good, especially the younger ones. By the way, at 112 pounds, Justin Rivera, who was the #1 seed and got knocked off by freshman Joe Duca of Paulsboro, has wrestled his way back to finish third with a 3-2 win over A.J. Fisher of Lower Cape May. So Rivera will be going to Atlantic City.
That's a strong weight class, Vogt.
Yes.
Because Fisher's a guy who beat Hughes of Duran twice, and Hughes was a state place winner last year.
Yes.
And this is Fisher's not even going to the tournament.
Nope.
Blood time, not injury time, I guess.
Well,
Or did I say, was it or not? Did I see the B flashing?
yeah, I know, I see that, but the B's been flashing the whole tournament.
Okay.
Excuse me.
I can teach you something about these switches on your thing when you cough.
I know.
A cough switch. There we go. We flick it. Bring that baby right next to you, Vogt. Hard to believe you could lose your voice.
I know.
You didn't think your wife would ever let you talk. How could you lose it?
Funny part was, during the district, she was very quiet. People asked her why. She was so quiet, she lost her voice. She passed it on to me.
Third period, 4-2 lead for Lopez, looking for the escape. None yet.
Tries a little bit of a Granby roll himself to get free. Got the escape.
There's the point. I like that how they wait, Vogt, because just in case, sometimes you see a guy get two from there, or sometimes he doesn't get out all the way and he doesn't get anything.
Right, or sometimes they'll get the one too fast, and then the man will spin behind and get another 2 points.
The old 3-point move.
Where he actually only earned 2 points.
5-2 lead.
I think Lopez finished, what, third last year in this tournament?
Gonna pull that out, Vogt. Yes, he did.
So this will be his second straight trip to Atlantic City, should he hold on with a lead in this weight class. And we're coming down on the fast approaching the 1 minute mark. Lopez holding a 5-2 lead. Zach Cohen wrestling in that couldn't win overtime. They're 1-1.
Of course, Vogt, looking forward to the 130-pound match here in Consolations, which is a rematch of Friday night here, right? Rislow and Renard.
Yes.
Where Rislow won. 42 seconds. 5-2 lead Lopez.
There's Dean Duke and Paul Marina in the corner for Paulsboro. Keith Hoover, the St. Augustine Prep head coach. Lopez trying to control the head and spin the arm. Noticed the blocking arm come out. And as soon as it was blocked, Lopez dropped right down trying to get a single.
And he's happy at this, Votes, because the clock keeps ticking.
Keeps ticking away.
They go out with 8 seconds left.
Good solid job by Lopez. Capping off his senior year with another trip to Atlantic City.
Caution on the St. Augustine wrestler. From Lopez, they stay away.
Yes.
And he does, 5-2 win. And he moves on to Atlantic City. Go to 130 pounds, Vogue, and we talked about this. This is another pretty good weight class. Catalano, Rislow, Garrett, Wilcox, Renard.
And as you mentioned earlier, a rematch for third place because in the quarterfinals, Rislow got 4 late points on a takedown and back points to win 8-7 over John Renard, who was the returning regional champion.
Rislow losing his headgear.
In the corner for Rislow, Joe Hollywood, who knows what it's like to win a regional title, and Guy Rislow, the father.
Former wrestler at Gloucester Catholic High School.
Yeah. Tom McConnell, one of the coaches in the corner for John Renard. Rislow won his first match against Renard 8-7, lost to Catalano of Highland 12-6, dropped into the wrestlebacks, won his match against McCormick of Clayton by fall to advance to this point, wrestling for third place. Renard came in as the number 4 seed, won his first match against Renner of Buena 9-2, lost to Rislow 8-7, wrestled back with a win over Michaelek of Pennsville in 32 seconds, and then beat Gerald Garrett from Egg Harbor Township.
A takedown for Renard in the final minute of period number 1. 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I should correct myself on that because Garrett is now at Holy Spirit. He won a regional title for Egg Harbor Township last year. This year he's at Holy Spirit. And that was a battle of 2 Region 8 champions. Who won the match over there?
Cheek won in overtime, 3-1 Vogue. Little injury time. 42 seconds left. And a 2-0 lead for John Renard Kingsway. Nice shot of the facility. I guess there's only 2 gyms that actually in this region can handle a tournament like this. Obviously, we talked about this throughout the year. Williamstown and Absegami.
And of course, Absegami has hosted this.
It's like 86 or 87.
Yeah, ever since Vineland gave it up, it's been here. Of course, back then, Absegami, a brand new facility.
Once again, Renard losing his headgear.
Rislow. And Renard, yeah. I'm sorry, Renard lost his headgear. See them flipping another one?
You better be good to Absegami.
There we go. There you see Joe Hollywood in the background. 3-time as a vote, 3-time state place winner.
Yes. Excellent wrestler.
before the match, Van Lynch, former assistant with him, joking around with Joe about maybe an exhibition match between the two of them. Joe just said he'd circle for about 30 seconds and wait till Van got tired.
Yeah, quite a size difference. That was one of the all-time great trips I ever took to the NAIA Nationals years back when Glassboro State had wrestling. Now they're rowing. And you had Jeff Pallies and Van Lynch and John Valecco, George MacArthur. Great trip. 2-0 after one period.
Renard will take bottom.
With the lead.
It's the third meeting between these two wrestlers, second time in as many nights. First they met in the Tri-County Conference tournament. Some talk, Vogt, about maybe having that tournament earlier on in the year. I don't know if what's going to happen there. There's Renard.
Nice move with the hips. Very nice move with the hips.
Getting the 2.
Guy's going to get
And
back
points.
points.
Yep.
See, lock the legs up. Lock the leg up.
And he's got Rizlo in a lot of trouble, Vogt. Nice job by Rizlo to fight out of it. Should be 7-0 after the back points.
Here it is here. Going up 7-0.
We go back to the center, 56 seconds left. Second period, John Renard of Kingsway with the 7-0 lead. Kingsway with that Group 3 state title this year. South Jersey faring pretty well, winning 3 out of the 6, which isn't bad considering the state's broken up into 4 different regions, Vogt.
Yeah, North 1, North 2, Central, and South. And for one section of the state to get 3 team championships, that speaks well for that section of the state. Renard relentless on top.
Read my mind, Vogt.
All time, please.
Got to work up on that leg. Looks like we're going to get a restart with 23 seconds left.
Yeah, you might have saw the official in charge, Sean Felkins, in the background, waving his hand, doing a visual count. Because if the man gets on his feet, you have, in their minds, the officials' minds, X amount of time to get him back to the mat, make an attempt to get him back to the mat.
You're going to see the clock. 7 seconds.
Out of bounds they go.
Renard, both of these guys are only juniors.
Yeah.
By the way, Catalano only a sophomore. And you look around at this tournament, Vogt, there's a lot of great talent coming back.
Injury time. Yeah, it speaks well of the caliber of wrestling in some areas. See the number of wrestlers who are coming back.
And we talked about that 89-pound weight class, but even 71, we have Starkovich from Pennsville, you have Greenwald from Paulsboro. And the 103-pounders, obviously, loaded with underclassmen, as they are every year.
Yeah, it's almost rare to get a senior 103-pounder, which means that every year when the Region 7-8 seniors put on their showcase against the Delaware State seniors team and the Seniors Classic, which will be at Paulsboro this year, a lot of times you have a hard time getting 103 pounds.
We take a look, 8-0 over there on the other mat, Vogt. This is 135. Sly Hall from Triton.
Now, Timber Creek,
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Berman from St. Joe's, and Berman's in complete control here, 8-0 in the second period.
Yeah, Berman was the number 3 seed coming in. Sly Hall, number 6 seed.
Back to the other match, 7-0 lead. John Renard as we start the third period. The rubber match, third meeting. I'm saying third meeting, assuming they didn't meet in the dual meet, which I'll go look up real quick, Boach. So we got 1:35 left.
And of course, Renard comfortably in the lead, so he doesn't have to take any chances at all. But executes a nice drag and spin behind. Basic fundamentals. Now 9-0 lead, which in a dual meet would be a major decision.
And there is no team points in this, right?
Yes. Well, no, not in the regional.
Right. Renard went 135 in the dual meet. Rislow at 30, so they did not meet in that match where Kingsway won 71-10.
Rislow gets a point for an escape.
.48 seconds left. 9-1 lead. John Renard of Kingsway. Rislow in on the leg.
Going to run out of room.
Now, what's the deal, Voj, if you are a fourth here? I mean, do you win? Is there still a chance something happens to one of the other top wrestlers that you have a chance to get in?
You are the backup
until it
to
starts.
Get into the tournament. Until that tournament starts in Atlantic City. Fourth can move up if number 3 gets hurt in the meantime before the tournament starts. Or if number 2 gets hurt, number 3 would move up, number 4 could move in.
Time running out, 9-1 lead, 7 seconds left. And when's the state tournament start, Boach?
On Friday.
Friday, Saturday, and the final on Sunday?
That's correct.
You like the fact that there's no semis and finals on the same day?
Yes. Mirrors what they do in the collegiate ranks.
9-1 lead, or a 9-1 victory for John Renard. He moves on. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more after this timeout. Back at Absegami High School, consolation match at 152 pounds. What do we have, Voj?
We got Rob Whedon of Kingsway, the number 3 seed. He's wrestling Theo Apostle of Williamstown, the number 4 seed.
And Voj, these two guys met January 10th in the dual meet. Kingsway won the dual meet 59-3. Whedon winning at 152 over Apostle, 9-0.
Whedon could have used a better break in this tournament as the number 3 seed. He met Eric DeShields of Lower Cape May in the quarterfinals and was a loser by an illegal slam 58 seconds into the match. And DeShields was not able to come back and wrestle the next day, so anybody scheduled to wrestle him walked right through. That dropped Whedon into the wrestlebacks. He beat Hamilton of Paulsboro 3-1. First round of wrestlebacks, won by a fall against Williams. In the second round, Anthony Williams of Triton, 1-minute pin to get to this point.
And he has a takedown and a 2-0 lead here in the first period.
Apostle, the number 4 seed, lost to Anthony Williams by a fall in 5:16, which dropped him into the wrestlebacks. He then beat Interlante by a technical fall. Interlante from
Timber Creek,
Anthony Interlante, Matt Interlante. And then, of course, he moved on by forfeit win over DeShields. And that sets him up here wrestling for third place against Rob Whedon.
And after the escape, it's 2-1. Whedon. course, Whedon with those 3 epic battles with Dustin Deckard. And a lot of people are looking for a 4th meeting. Trying to get that takedown. There you see, 6 seconds left. Is he going to get it? He got it. And a big takedown and a 4-1 lead through 1.
One thing I've noticed in a lot of Kingsway wrestlers in this tournament, they are very aggressive on their feet and go after a lot of early points.
Well, this tournament's been a lot of Kingsway and a lot of Paulsboro, and you'd expect that. Both teams winning state titles, both teams probably top 10 in the state when it's all said and done. 5-1 lead now.
Paulsboro advancing 11 into the quarterfinals, and Kingsway doing the same. 4 district champions and then 7 who won on Tuesday night to get to the semifinals. So each team had 11 wrestlers apiece.
Whedon doing a nice job to fight off that takedown attempt. They'll go back to the center with 1:21 left. Second period, 5-1 lead, Rob Whedon of Kingsway.
John Jernigan, the new coach of Williamstown this year, replaced Danny Calhoun. And of course, we've seen Tom McConnell of Kingsway on several occasions this year in his second year as head coach.
And in the corner is Rob's father, who's actually the trainer for Kingsway.
Reversal to green. Okay, we're good.
5-1 lead, as we said. Whedon winning the other match between these two, 9-0 in the dual meet.
In a little bit of trouble here, though. Got to fight it off.
Appeared in trouble at one time. Now he's going to look like he can get a takedown, and he does. 7-1.
Their Apostle 3/4 of the way through a move, and Whedon did not quit on the move, and ends up getting the points himself.
Couple seniors here. 152. See escape now 7-2. And that will end the period, 7-1 lead. Of course, some of these guys, their season won't be over after the weekend because, as you said, there's the, what do you guys call it, an all-star match, or what do you call it? The Delaware Region 7, Region 8 match.
The Seniors Classic.
Seniors Classic.
The Wednesday after the New Jersey State Wrestling Tournament.
So it's what, the highest placing senior?
Yes. All seniors have received or their coach has received an application. We collect them all, those who might be interested. And then when we get to the state tournament, look and see who finished highest in the state in that weight class. That's the first invitation. They choose not to wrestle, go to number 2 and so forth until we get a wrestler.
There's two, looks like two for Apostle, and I don't. 7-4, interesting call.
Well, if you are reversing someone, you don't have to take them to the mat. If you're taking somebody down, you have to get them to the mat. Or have other supporting points on the mat, hands and feet.
Final minute to wrestle. Apostle needs to get Whedon on his back to tie the match.
Listen, Whedon wants to stay active here.
Of course, there might be a point where he might have to think about letting him go and trying and take him down and put him on his back from the takedown.
Yes.
Warning against Whedon. And we'll reset back at the center with 40 seconds left. There you see 32 seconds left. What do you do now here if you're Apostle Boat?
Well, I think I got to think in terms of cutting him loose and trying to take him for a big throw. That's not going to get it done.
20 seconds. And there's the escape. Now 8-4, and that's what he needs to do now. He needs the big 2-2.
And he's given up one stalling point, I think. So, I mean, he could stall and still win. But it doesn't matter.
And he's going to win. Final score, 8-4, Rob Whedon of Kingsway, and he advances. Vote. So why don't we take a break? We'll be back at 189 after this timeout. Final consolation match, we're going to be looking at Vogue 189, Gerald Hodges, who put on an impressive show in the semifinals against the #1 seed Mac Mancuso to fall in overtime. He's out there against Damiana of Lower Cape May.
Yeah, Mancuso, the returning regional champion, got a walkthrough in his first match because after the first round of wrestlers who were second and third in the districts wrestled, the opponent from Woodstown suffered a broken collarbone. You do not reseed at that point, you simply move everybody up. So originally, Hodges would have been in the opposite bracket from Mancuso. As it turned out, Hodges moved up to the #5 seed from 6, and that caused them to meet in the semifinals. Hodges won his first match by fall against Rick DeMartin of Kingsway, and then had an epic battle with Mancuso. 1-1 after regulation, 1-1 after the first minute of overtime, 1-1 after the first 30-second overtime, and finally with 10 seconds left in the second overtime, Mancuso got an escape and won 2-1. Bill Damiani, as you mentioned, from Lower Cape May, it was the #2 seed. He won his first match 6-1 against Forsyth of Triton, won his second match 6-4 against Corcoran of St. Joe, lost 9-6 to Grisco of Highland, went into the wrestlebacks and beat DeMartin of Kingsway 3-1 to get to this point against Hodges.
And there you see Hodges with a takedown on the line and a 2-0 lead.
Hodges beat Corcoran 10-2 in the wrestleback. And of course, as you had pointed out earlier, the 4 remaining wrestlers in this weight class are all sophomores.
Another thing I mentioned, Vogue, even though Hodges lost that match in the semifinals, should he get by here, it's got to give him a ton of confidence going into the state tournament, knowing that he could hang with Mancuso, who very well might be the #1 seed. You got Siciliano from Ocean Township, a good wrestler, but you know, he hung right in there with the #1 kid.
And was very, very close on a couple of occasions to getting a takedown. So, I mean, he just, you know, one move shy of knocking off the returning regional champion.
Hodges weighing 189 this year, Votes. Where do you think he'll go next year?
I would be surprised if he doesn't go 215 next year. You know, I think it'll be almost a natural weight for him. I don't think he'll have to cut any weight to wrestle 215. And
especially
of
with
course,
the upper weights. With you have Grimes coming in,
Yeah.
Greenwald can move up, so you
Yeah.
just slot them right on in.
yeah, and if he comes back at 215, he probably won't weigh 215. I imagine he'll probably be a late 215, but with his athletic ability, he certainly can handle the competition at that weight.
One minute to wrestle in the second. Hodges with a 2-0 lead.
Well documented, of course, that Hodges is an outstanding athlete, quarterback on the football team that won the Group 1 title, and a defensive back as well. Has only 2 losses prior to losing to Mancuso. Were both in that Council Rock tournament against wrestlers from out of state.
Well, in case you're just joining us, John Mondelli with John Vogening. Voge going through puberty this weekend. Voice cracking once in a while, Voge. Got to be ready. You have to do the PA for the state tournament next weekend.
Yeah, I know.
And we'll go to the third period. Hodges holding on to a 2-0 lead, doing a great job on top, trying to break his man down. Did not let up a point in that position. Hodges chooses the bottom.
And of course, after the match with Mancuso, anything is anticlimactic after that. Pretty tough to get yourself sky high for this match.
There he goes.
The great hips.
Reversal right to back points and maybe a pin.
Oh my.
I mean, had a nice job fighting that one off, but it'll be 5-point move and a 7-0 lead for Hodges.
It's so natural. See, that was what he tried to do several times against Mancuso. Tried to use his hips to go over Mancuso's body, and it just didn't work. Mancuso was a very gifted athlete as well.
I'm sure in the next couple of years we could see those two meet quite a few times.
Well, I'm just wondering whether Mancuso will go to 215 next year. I think he'll still be back at 89.
Plus they can meet again this weekend, next weekend.
Oh, they could very easily.
Hodges in complete control. Up 7-0. Of course, after this match, we'll bring you the finals, where we had 13 out of 14 #1 seeds advance, Vogue.
Great job by the seating committee.
So a warning against Hodges for stalling. Time running out, final 20 seconds.
Very methodical match by Hodges.
Trying to get a couple more points before it's all said and done. It's going to get a count.
Yep.
So he'll pick up 3 more and pick up a 10-0 win. Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll have the finals of Region 8 after this timeout. Back with the 2007 Region 8 Finals, Vogue, 103 pounds, Eric Dunnett of Paulsboro and Sean Boylan of Holy Spirit.
Eric Dunnett, the number 1 seed. He advanced with a 3-17 fall in the quarterfinal round. 6-0 win over Gillard of Delsey in the semifinal round to reach this point. He is undefeated this year. He's facing Sean Boylan.
He gets a takedown, Voj, and leads 2-0.
The number 2 seed, who advanced with a tech fall in the quarterfinals over Chuck Zeisloff of Gateway, and in a 14-0 major decision over Curtis Becker of Kingsway in the semifinals. Done it this year, 19-0, 51 career wins. Was first in the district the last 2 years, first in the region last year, and 6th in the state. Boylan, a freshman from Holy Spirit, 35-2 this year, including 17 technical falls.
You see the graphics how the wrestlers got there. It's 2-1, Voj. Under a minute left here in the first. Boylan placing 5th at the Beast.
Of course, the big discrepancy in a number of matches this year is because Dunnett was hurt prior to the Brick Memorial Tournament. Suffered an ankle injury that took him some time to recover.
Another takedown, 4-1. Boylan looks great, Voj.
Yes, he does. Has looked sharp throughout the tournament. Unquestionably the toughest opponent Dunnett's had this year.
Dunnett coming off that fine performance against Knapp from Rarely, who was unbeaten, right?
He was unbeaten until Dunnett beat him in the Group 1 state final.
14 seconds.
James Higgins of Washington Township wrestled back to finish 3rd, and we'll go to Atlantic City.
Boylan's going to take that 4-1 lead in the second. A couple takedowns.
Yeah, and Dunnett does not look sharp.
And we talked about this a lot, though. Sometimes the good wrestler, really good wrestlers can make other wrestlers not look that way.
Well, no question about it. And for Sean Boylan, with the season he's had so far, he's got 2 losses.
Whereas Dunnett was with 1 T. Just want to correct the spelling there, that's all.
Yep. Got a
Look at that, though. It's another takedown.
Yeah. Very sharp on his feet right now. Just going to say Boylan's losses were both in the Beast, as you pointed out. One was to a wrestler from St. Mark's in Delaware, and the other one from Bergen Catholic.
Yeah. Who's the Bergen Catholic wrestler? Him and Dunnett, Voj, are ranked 1 and 2 in the state. So Boylan making a statement, and in the Beast, he wrestled Sean Dolan, who I guess for a while people thought might be going to Paulsboro. Ended up at St. Mark's, and they split. They beat each other in that tournament.
In that Beast of the East tournament.
In the Beast of the East. 6-1 lead.
Minute left in the second period, and Boylan is dominating the competition in this weight class.
Yeah, he's making a run through Gloucester County, isn't he? Zeisloff, Becker, and now Dunnett. 45 seconds left here in the period. 6-1 lead, Boylan.
All 3 Gloucester County wrestlers, as you mentioned. Of course, in this final, you have 9 wrestlers from District 31, 7 wrestlers from District 32. Boylan, of course, from District 32. Stalemate. Tom Reynolds, the official in charge. Sean Felkins, the assistant.
Interesting how good Dunnett is on top with the legs. You think he'll choose top to start the third period, Voj? Because he's having trouble on the bottom.
Yes, he is. Been taken down twice and been taken down, I guess, all 3 times, right?
Well, it's going to be a 6-1 lead going into the third.
And looks very strong, very, very strong.
And that's what's going to happen, Boach. And obviously, Holy Spirit must have scouted that by taking the neutral in the second.
Yes.
Especially with a couple takedowns, Boylan obviously comfortable.
Of course, Boylan, with a very comfortable 6-1 lead, doesn't have to do anything outstanding on the bottom. I mean, he can get worn, he can get hit with stalling points. He's not that much time for Dunnett to capitalize on stalling points.
Concerned Paul Marino looking on.
That's a situation that Dunnett has not been in this year, trailing this late in a match.
Kind of trying to work his magic from the top. More than trying to do his best to get out. He does.
Going to run out of space.
104 left. Eric Dunnett, a champ at 103 last year. Overtime win against Fedeka, who we'll see at 119. Look at that move. Oh, you might get a reversal right here, and we do. 8-1 lead. Now they escape 8-2.
Yeah, it's a simple switch move, but good hip movement on it. Didn't let his hips get caught. Dunnett is in deep trouble now.
Got the takedown.
Could be too little, too late.
No, they gave it to Boylan. It's 10-2. Sort of a surprise, Vogue, I think, for me, too. Of course, we don't get to see a lot of the wrestlers down here at the Shore. But we knew this credentials coming in for Boylan pretty good.
Oh, there was no question. No question. I mean, anybody places in the Beast of the East that starts the season off as a freshman got to be anticipated to be a very, very good wrestler. And he has been in complete control this entire match.
Time running out, and that's it. Final 10-2. John Boylan of Holy Spirit wins his first region title. And this is exactly how Bill Evans picked this in the Gloucester County Times, 1, 2, and 3. Give Bill some credit. They like to remind you when you're wrong, so you want to, compliment the people when they're right.
Absolutely.
There you go, 13 number 1 seeds making it into the final. The only non-number 1 seed is at this weight class where Joe Duca picked up a big win, right, Boach?
Absolutely.
Over Justin Rivera of St. Augustine, 7-6.
Knocked off the returning champion, 7-6 in the semifinals.
8-2s, and there you see the rest of them. Here we go. 112 pounds. Curcio and Duca.
Joe Duca, a freshman out of Paulsboro.
Gets a takedown early on. He has a 2-0 lead.
Well,
and there's the escape, Vogue.
And sometimes it can be a little bit tough to go out and wrestle after an undefeated teammate falls. Joe Duca got to this point by beating Rigger from Delsey 6-3 in the semifinals. And then Justin Rivera, the returning champion, 7-6 in the semifinals, quarterfinals and semifinals. Curcio got here with a 12-6 win over Tony Consolations of Pittman, and then beat A.J. Fisher, who we heard so much about from Lower K May, 7-5 in the semifinals.
Curcio went on the shot.
Rivera battled back to place third by beating Fisher 3-2.
No points there.
Duca 31-8 this year. Curcio 34-1 this year. His only loss to Rivera of St. Augustine by 3-2. 69 career wins so far.
Duca in on the shot. And the takedown, 4-1 lead.
Duca being a bulldog on his feet right now. And of course, regional placements run in the family.
Well, he is dad, two-time state champion, 79, or region champion, 79 and 80, and a one-time state champion, a two-time finalist.
And I think probably his uncle Dean was, if I remember correctly, also won a regional.
4-2 on the escape.
4-2 lead as the first period is running down.
Now talk about Curcio, only how he got to the finals. He had a big move in that semifinal, Voge. 2-2, put his man right to his back. And that's big. You know, points are hard to come by when you get to the semis and the finals.
Oh yeah, especially when you're wrestling somebody who has the credentials of A.J. Fisher of Lower Cape May.
Duca starts bottom, period number 2. He leads this match 4-2. Curcio trying to break him down. Curcio won a 3-pounder last year in this tournament.
Dean Duca, a regional champion back in 1987. Joe Duca's uncle,
Right.
and is now one of the assistant coaches. Duca has got to be able to come off the bottom in this period.
This late in the match, Voge, we're halfway through, a big point either way. For Curcio, if he can hold him down for the entire period, even get him on his back. And for Duca, like to take that 3-point lead going into the third period.
Oh, without a doubt.
Stall warning against Curcio.
Riding parallel.
Puts a little pressure on him now, Voge.
Head coach of Washington Township, of course, Ralph Ross Jr. Looked over to the other official sitting on the side, had some kind of a comment to make. Curcio definitely will take down in the third period, and Duca is not one of the better riders on the team.
There's the escape.
A big escape point.
There you see, with just under 30 seconds left in the period, 5-2 lead, Joe Duca of Paulsboro.
And of course, it'd be huge if he could get a takedown in the last 15 seconds of the period.
That'll be huge for either wrestler because that would make it a 1-point match if Curcio gets one.
Absolutely.
And has the choice in the third.
Yep.
Remember, one stall warning called in this match. Curcio got hit in the second period. Time running out. We'll go to the third. 5-2 lead, Joe Duca, Paulsboro.
And as expected, Curcio takes the down or defensive position.
You know, one of those losses, I had a chance to see one of Duca's losses this year. He was leading in the third period against Cheek of Overbrook. That's when he was wrestling at 19. And I think Cheek ended up finishing third, placing at 19. Here's a point, escape, now 5-3. So Curcio within a takedown of tying this match. 1:42 left.
Curcio, a two-time district champion who was third in this region a year ago. You are correct. Cheek took third at 119 pounds with an overtime win over Zach Cohen of Williamstown. But we're 5-3. Duca can't lose his aggressiveness.
Goes for the shot. See if he can finish it, though.
And on the single, he's got to lift up. If he can lift and get both legs and drive, he can get a takedown.
Well, he's got to pop his head out here, though.
Yep.
The all-important clock keeps moving now.
Right. Curcio trying to keep the head buried. Still neutral. Duca trying to walk around behind.
And they want to keep moving, too, so you don't get a stalemate, votes, because I can see that being called right now.
Yep.
There you go. 44 seconds left. 5-3 match. Well, water break. I don't think the officials are letting that happen, though, huh?
No.
Injury time. We're wiping him down, I think is what we're doing. 44 seconds left.
Duca has not been warned for stalling yet, so he can't lose his aggressiveness, but he can't afford a warning. Interesting in the corner, watching Paul Marina and Dean Duca both up out of their chairs, going in opposite directions.
Trying to move with him.
Trying to wrestle with the wrestler.
Yeah, you might get the stall warning against Duca, and there it
comes.
is. 13 seconds left. Now still 5-3. Both wrestlers have been hit. Curcio almost has a takedown. Can he spin around and get it? Did he get it? He got it! He got it! With 6 seconds left, we're tied at 5.
Great movement by Curcio. Did not give up on the move.
Did he get the escape at the buzzer? No, we're going to overtime. 1 minute overtime. There we go, wrestling a full 6 minutes. Remember, both wrestlers have been hit. We go back to the center. 13 seconds wrestled here in the first overtime. A lot of overtimes today.
Yeah, and see there again, one of the keys late in that match is you have to stay aggressive.
There's a takedown, Duca, he wins!
Oh my!
19 seconds into the overtime. And right now, Boach, you're looking at the MVP, Outstanding Wrestler of this tournament. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. And we're back, and there you see the place winners at 103 pounds. Boylan and Eric Dunnett finishing 1-2. Higgins from Washington Township finishing 3 votes, but what a match at 112. Watch us take down.
Being aggressive. Curcio almost blocked it to be able to get control himself, but there was Duca being extremely aggressive and battling around. He knew he had it.
How about that? Knocks off the number 1 and 2 seeds in this tournament. We go to 119, Vogue. What do we got?
119 pounds. We have the number 1 seed, Jose Matos of St. Augustine. He is out there against the number 2 seed, Luke Fedecco of Delsea. Jose Matos of St. Augustine getting to the finals by beating Cheek in the quarterfinals, and then, beating Cohen of...
You're right. Cheek in the quarters and Cohen in the semis.
Yep.
There you see
Fedecco with a win over Eric Wilson of Shalleck. Shutout win followed by a 3-1 overtime win over Eddie Wertenberger of Paulsboro. Cheek wrestled back and got 3rd place with a 3-1 overtime win over Zach Cohen of Williamstown. Wertenberger lost to Cheek 8-6 in the wrestlebacks.
These two have wrestled earlier this year, Vogue, with Matos winning 7-4.
Right. And Matos only has one loss this year, 37-1. He's a senior. His lone loss was to Ryan Wilson of Wall Township.
At 125.
Up a weight at 125, and that score was 6-3.
And I wrote another little note there because I wrote something. I'm trying to read what I wrote, but Matos trying to spin her. He has a fake. There's a takedown for Matos, a 2-0 lead. He also has a win over Corey Schmidt of Camden Catholic, 5-3. Schmidt's a pretty good wrestler.
Yes, Fedeko 33-3 this year. Lost 3 times, in fact, to Jose Matos of St. Augustine. 7-4 the first time, 9-3 the second time, and 3-2 on a ride out the third time. Fedeko with 68 career wins so far. Matos entered this bout with 110 career wins and 28 losses.
2-1 after the first period. Of course, Fedeko a 2-time finalist. Lost in the finals last year to Eric Dunnett of Paulsboro. Matos last year, Vogt, in the semis, lost a tough 6-5 match to Anthony Luma, ended up placing third.
Right.
Luma only went on to win regions last year.
Matos, a 3-time district finalist who was a district champion the last 2 years. Fedeko, a 2-time district champion, and as you mentioned, second in Region 8 last year.
There's a reversal. It's now 4-1.
Big points for Matos.
And the escape, 4-2.
Now what Fedeko has to do out there is much like Duca did in the previous match. He has to stay aggressive, look for his openings, try and get a takedown.
Nice core of underclassmen at Delcy, 2 votes, so bodes well for Greg Swear.
We'll have a freshman coming up in the middleweights. They were very good in the bottom 3 weights this year.
And there's the shot, looking to tie the match.
They pull it in, pull it in.
And we'll go back with 42 seconds left in the second, 4-2 lead Matos.
Fedeko with a couple of classic matches against Wurtemberger at Paulsboro this year, one in the dual meet that went overtime, and the semifinal here that went overtime 3-1. Fedeko winning both times on takedowns at
Fedeko
overtime.
taking the shots, but this time Matos fights it off and gets a takedown and a 6-2 lead.
Yeah, spins around behind and gets control.
There's Greg Sawyer, state finalist. 2 years back. Time runs out in the period. 6-2 lead as we go into the third.
Matos in control. See Keith Hoover facing the camera. He's the head coach of St. Augustine. We have a blood timeout.
1989, Greg Sawyer, not 1989, 1997. Greg Sawyer, a champ at 189 pounds, beating Chris Carlino of Absegami. And then the following year, wrestled 215, lost to Nick Lopez in the region finals and then in the state finals. Wasn't that the match he could barely walk?
Yes, yes. In many people's minds, they would have even sent him out on the mat, but I've showed the courage of a lion going out there.
We talk high school wrestling every Wednesday at 7:30, Thursday at 10 p.m. High School Wrestling Report, and we'll talk about the state seeds this week on the show, Vogue.
CD meeting takes place on Monday at Robbinsville, the NJSA headquarters. Of course, it's always a challenge to try and figure out the state seedings because there's an upper bracket and a lower bracket, and there's 3 wrestlers from every region. Of course, there are 8 regions, so 24 wrestlers will be in each weight class.
6-3. Matos in the lead. Matos working right by that line, Voch.
Yes. Which is a good maneuver because if you miss a takedown, a lot of times if you take the shot, you go out of bounds before the other wrestler can recover and try and get you.
Final minute to wrestle here in the third period. Matos of St. Augustine with a 6-3 lead.
And in control. Putting a lot of pressure on Fedeko to try some kind of a desperation move. Again, as you mentioned, you see that Matos, when the shot is taken on him, is right there with the out of bounds, his biggest friend on the mat.
Well, at this point, Fedeko, you got to take a shot, right? Got to go for the big one.
Got to go for the throw, some kind of throw. He needs a 2 and 2. A 4-point move could win the match for him. So, but you see Matos.
It looks like he can't finish the move. He gets there, and the Matos fights him off, and then Matos usually gets the takedown like he did right there.
And as soon as the hands touch the mat, it's a takedown.
8-3. 5 seconds left.
Please report to the head table.
5 seconds left. 8-3 match. And that's going to be it. Final score, 8-3. Jose Matos of St. Augustine is the champ at this weight class. Fedeko, second trip to the final. Tough one. There you see Coach Hoover. Hoover had the award ceremony at 112 pounds, Voch. There you see a happy Matos looking for his fans in the bleachers, and he's climbing up. There you go. I'd like to see the family support. Little old school Phillies uniform back there too, I saw. Anyway, Rivera finishes third, Kersey goes second, and from Paulsboro, Joe Duca. That's not a boo, by the way, Voch.
That's a Duke. That's a Duke.
Okay, 125 pounds. Anthony Luma of Egg Harbor, Rich Bushby of Kingsway. Between the two of them, there's 3 region titles there. Luma 1 for 1, Bushby 2 for 2.
Anthony Luma, the sophomore, is the #1 seed. Comes in here with a win over Wes Miller of Clearview by fall in the quarterfinals, and over CJ Conjure of St. Augustine by fall in the semifinals. Rich Bushby, as you mentioned, the #2 seed and or #3 seed actually, and a former 2-time Region 7 champion, beat Earl Winterbottom 14-4, followed it up with a win over the #2 seed, Nico Lopez of Paulsboro, by a score of 8-1.
And then avenged the loss he had earlier in the year.
It's true.
I'll tell you what, Luma's just tough. There's the takedown and a 2-0 lead.
A lot of people evaluating what's coming out of South Jersey this year. One of the almost sure shots that people feel can win a state title is Luma. Luma is a sophomore, 31-0 this year, with 66-2 for his career, 2-time district champion, won a regional title last year, and was 5th in the state last year. Richie Bushby, 27-7 this year, 98 career wins going into this bout. 2-time district champion, 3-time district finalist, 2-time Region 7 champion, who was 6th in the state 2 years ago.
Potentially dangerous. 53 seconds left.
Stay low on your feet, stay low. Hip back, straight back. Stay on your feet.
So far, 2 regional titles for District 32 and 1 for District 29.
30 seconds, 30 seconds.
32 the favorite here.
There it is.
Matto's very, very comfortable out there in the
Luma,
mat.
you mean?
I mean, Luma. Very, very comfortable out there in the mat.
Oh, look at that, Voch. Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Well, nice job by Bushby. So he can fight out of this one.
Well, see, Bushby's got experience too, so he doesn't panic either.
Luma was looking for 2. He got it. I don't know if you see the 2 fingers he put up. Did I get 2?
Yeah.
119 count. Please report paperwork at podium.
4-0 lead.
Head coaches do not permit them to defend their outstanding wrestler powers at the head table.
Bushby chooses bottom.
Luma's coach, the veteran Mike Chiazza. Of course, you mentioned earlier they coach of the year in Region 8 for
Tom McConnell, Kingsway.
Tom McConnell. Congratulations.
Well, they won the Tri-County Royal 1 Group 3. Nice year.
Excellent year.
Second year as a head coach. Bushby chooses bottom here in the second.
Luma is extremely confident in any position on the mat. Offense, defense, neutral.
Hand coming through. Right back, right back.
There you go again, Bud.
Near side cradle. And he has a couple of pins so far. Trying to add a third.
2 more 3 back points there. 7-0. Just seems like he'd frustrate you if you're an opposing wrestler.
Well, especially when you don't think he has anything and all of a sudden your back's exposed. It's called mat confidence.
Oh, yeah.
And just think about it, he's only a sophomore.
Well, we noticed that last year when we had our first chance of seeing him last year in the final. Warning against Bushby.
That's tough to take a stalling warning when you're being pummeled out there. Look at Luma's leg. Leg goes in.
Take the knee out. Drop it flat. Take the post. 30. Stay on your feet. Stay on your feet.
Right back down to the mat. Bushby rolls through. Can he get the escape?
Did he get a reversal?
Reversal, I should say, because he can. And back points. He got back point. No, he did not. Luma rolls through. Oh, look at that, Boach.
Oh my. He got a little bit upset that he got reversed.
Well, they only gave him an escape. They ain't give him a reversal. 3 back points, 12-1.
12-1.
I think McConnell won it too.
And the referee, Ron Roberts, explaining why there was nothing more than 1 point. Boy, if you're Bushby, you have to be frustrated to be wrestling seemingly as well as he's wrestling and losing by 11 points right now. Just goes to show you how good Luma is.
Set it up, set it up. Far out, you gotta close the gap. You gotta close the gap.
20 seconds here into the fourth, or third.
Yeah.
Bushby taking the shot. There's the takedown. He got that takedown.
Yeah, now Luba threw the leg out
Knocking
there.
hands.
Luba threw the leg out there and asked for Bushby to take a shot, which he did. He did get 2 points for a takedown, but he ends up locking hands after he got the takedown.
So it's now 13-3.
And it cost him a point, yes. 13-3, Luma.
$19.92 votes. Ron Roberts was a region champ at 189 pounds.
You know, you look, that's true. You look back at the number of losses that Bushby has this year, and you look at the scores, they're all decision scores. The worst loss he had this year was 11-3 by a wrestler from Pennsylvania. Everything else has been kind of close decision losses. Luma can do everything else. Let's see what kind of move he pulls to get off the bottom.
Obviously not on the bottom too much because he chooses bottom. There's a warning against him.
Well, he knows he has a comfortable lead, so he's not doing anything dangerous.
.31 seconds left.
Takes a look over at Coach Piazza.
Nico Lopez finishing third. Wrestling back for third. The winner, A.J. Conjure.
Earning his second trip to the state tournament. Potentially dangerous. Call. Bushby's going to run out of time. Tried to throw the leg in, tried to slip the half in.
Remember just looking up at the clock.
Well, he knows all he's got to do is stay out of trouble, and he wins another regional title.
And that does it, 13-3 final score. Anthony Luma of Egg Harbor wins his second straight Region A title. Pace for 4, we'll take a break. We'll come right back.
In third place, from Oakhurst High School, Ryan Cheek. Your runner-up in second place from LC.
Back, and there we take a look at the place winners from 119 votes.
Yes, 119. Jose Matos on top of the stand was first. Luke Fedecco of Delsey was second. And Cheek, the third place medalist from Oakcrest High School. So 2 out of the 3 wrestlers are from District 32, the other one from District 31.
130 pounds, Vogue. This is a rematch of the semifinals in the Tri-County tournament. Matt Catalano and Aaron Wilcox.
Of course, Matt Catalano got that Outstanding Wrestler Award in that competition.
Get it. Leg straight.
Of course, that tournament helped him get the #1 seed, and he came in here as the #1 seed. He opened up with a 113 win over Mike Michaelek of Pennsville, followed up with a 12-6 win over Rislow of Deptford. Wilcox comes in as the #2 seed. His first win was over Boskar of St. Augustine, and advanced with a 5-0 win over Gerald Garrett, the #3 seed from Holy Spirit.
And Catalano proving he's the real deal, Vogue. 2-time, was it district champ? Anyway, he's a 2-0 lead here.
Yeah, 2-time district finalist, was first this year's after a second last year. 37-2 this year, 54 career wins. Wilcox, a 4-time district finalist, 3-time district champion, has finished 3rd, 1st, and 2nd in regional competition and was 6th in the state last year. 127-14, his career record entering this bout.
And 2 of those 3 losses come into Delran wrestlers.
It's true. Lost to Sweezy of Delran at 135 pounds and lost to Carthan of Delran at 130 pounds.
And obviously Catalano in that tournament. Or Tri-County Championships, I'm not sure what they called it.
Yeah.
Wilcox trying to steal one at the end of the period. Catalano very tough. We saw him in the final in that tournament against Renard.
Very smooth operator.
Highland hasn't had a region champ vote since '96. Hard to believe.
Very storied program. And of course, they still hold the record for the most regional champions in one year. They had 6 one time to hold the all-time record. Catalano's got to move up off the legs.
We have a discussion over here at the table. We see DJ Gore going over to talk. Tom Reynolds.
Yeah, I think a penalty point was assessed, and I don't know if it was locking hands or whether it was a illegal head scissors. But the score is 2-1.
Catalano takes that 2-1 lead into the second.
Yeah, a flurry of activity by Wilcox, but no points out of it. Brian Farnham is the Chalet coach, and of course, as you mentioned, DJ Gore, the Highland coach, former Highland wrestler.
Catalano's Wilcox in a little bit of trouble. Tough on top, Voch, too, because we talk about that all year, about wrestlers being able to break their man down, trying to get them on their back. You don't see enough of it anymore.
Yeah, and trying to get back points out of that. He got a 1 count, but could not hold him there for a 2 count. Now you're right. Catalano just was very impressive in that Tri-County Conference tournament.
Wilcox trying to break free. Catalano brings him right back down to the mat.
And of course, Catalano is only a sophomore.
And you look at this weight class. Rislow, who finished 4th, will be back. Catalano is going to be back. Renard's going to be back. Wilcox, a senior.
Yeah, so 3 of the 4 top place winners here will return. Wilcox is getting up off the mat, but Catalano staying right with him and countering the move. Again, Wilcox explodes off the bottom. This time he gets wrist control, works the escape, and ties the score at 2.
Elbow control it. Elbow control it. Control that. Control that. Get under. Hey, we got to get it all thing.
That last region champ for Highland Division '96 was Dave Ritz of Highland at heavyweight. And then he ended up losing, and he beat Jermaine Ruffin, but ended up losing to him in the state final. Ruffin went on to win 2 titles in a row.
That is accurate.
Reading out of your book has to be accurate.
And Wilcox has got Catalano extended off that takedown shot. If he can get a crossface in there.
Which he won't.
No, but see Catalano, what he did, he took a shot and got extended, but he had a death grip on that one leg, and if you can't move out of that position, it becomes a stalemate. Again, Catalano takes a shot.
Of course, Catalano has his choice in the third, so Wilcox like to do something here before the period ends.
Oh my.
Trying to fight for that takedown. Neither wrestler. Anything yet. There's a stalemate. Time's winding down under 5 seconds.
Catalano certainly has maturity that belies the fact that he's a sophomore.
Injury time break.
37 region titles for Highland by 27 different wrestlers, Vogue. Only one Highland wrestler has won 4. Should I put you on the spot or no? I'll just tell you.
One Highland wrestler that won 4 times.
Yeah.
And it was not
Joe Melchiori, you're right.
Yeah.
Mike McGinley.
Yep. Joe Melchiori got beat his freshman year by a wrestler from Millville, Dougie Taylor.
Of course, Shalleck has 2 region champs, one being Wilcox, the other being Carl Haywood back in 1995. Blood time out here. There's 5 minutes of blood time.
See the Highland corner.
Highland Paulsboro in the 80s, Vogue. The 2 big programs.
Caused a lot of shouting and interest in this building when they were winning so many regional titles. Catalano's choice, he's going to take down, of course. The challenge here will be on Wilcox. Can he hold him down? Can he work any back points?
And the question also is, how long does he try and keep him down?
Well, it's too.
Does he realize, I
yeah.
usually, at least a minute to try and see.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to cut him loose after being taken down by Catalano. Where he's most comfortable is what he's going to do. Now, if he's going to hold him down, he wants to get out perpendicular as often as he can. And if Catalano doesn't push up off the bottom,
He could get hit.
he could get hit with a stalling claw.
Tight match, 2-2. There's a warning against Wilcox.
Well, again, puzzling to me sometimes because neither one was doing anything, and that's going to force a situation where Wilcox, I think, is going to cut him loose.
Let's go, bud. Let's get one. Let's get one.
3-2 lead Catalano, and he goes into the shot. Wilcox sprawls, fights it off, and goes back on the attack. Wilcox taking the shots now, and that's what the coaches are saying. Just keep going at him.
That's all you can do, try and force a stall.
And I looked over at Brian Farnham, just said keep going at him.
seconds. Time is the biggest enemy for Wilcox right now.
Stalemate. 20 seconds. Collins got like 3 in the final. Briscoe a little bit later. Here's the move by Wilcox. Good luck with that. He can take a shot. He can spin around. He can get the takedown. Free up that leg. 2 seconds. Is he going to get time? No time. No time. Catalano wins. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We're back and we take a look at the place winners at 125. Anthony Luma, Egg Harbor is the winner. Bushby from Kingsway second, and Nico Lopez of Paulsboro finishing in third. We get ready for 135 pounds, folks. That freshman we've heard a lot about and seen a lot lately, Anthony Baldessaro of Delsea and Fred Shea of Buna.
Anthony Baldessaro, a freshman, 34-3. Freddie Shea, a senior from Buna, 34-3.
Identical records. They've faced each other. Baldessaro winning the match 3-2 when they met earlier. There you see how Baldessaro got here.
Baldessaro, the #1 seed, coming in, won 8-7 over Smith of Kingsway in his quarterfinal. Won by a fall in 6:27. That's an overtime fall over, excuse me, that was over Smith. His first match, Baldessaro, was over Burkhauser. Shea, in his first match, won over TJ Thomas of Pittman by fall, and then had a fall against Josh Berman of St. Joseph. Berman, of course, coming in third, but winning 12-5 over Sly Hall of Timber Creek.
Good job. Keep going forward. Good job. Good job.
You look at the losses. Baldessaro has, Shea has a loss to Sweezy. Baldessaro has a win against Sleazy. Has a win against Shea.
Baldessaro's losses were to Tyler Malonis of Jefferson, who was third in the state last year, 11-3. He lost to Burkhauser of Shalik, who he came back and avenged, and Steve Santos of Brick Memorial by decision. As you mentioned, Freddie Shea lost to Baldessaro 3-2, lost to Sweezy of Delran 5-0, and lost to Matt Frank of Toms River East 6-4. Freddie Shea, a 4-time district finalist, winning as a freshman and winning this year, and 4th in the region last year. Anthony Baldessaro, a district champion this year. Of course, he's a freshman. Very bright future.
Scoreless as we go into the second period. Shea choosing the bottom.
Unusual up to this point to have a scoreless first period.
Buna this year, though, it started off really strong as a team.
Oh, brother.
Buna trying to ask for a point, but maybe they had the escape. Refs say, here we go, we'll take it. The officials conferring. There's the escape.
After they confer.
Shea with the 1-0 lead.
Get the takedown, Freddie!
Delsea's a team that just got better as the season went along. These young guys just start to blossom.
Coming underneath.
Which bodes well for the future.
Now you see Gillard, you see Rigger, you see Fedecco, you got
Arm back, arm back.
Baldacero.
Use the floor here, Fred.
It's a nice nucleus. With 14 weight classes, you have to keep grooming wrestlers to come into the lineup.
Score, off that shot. Point the hand, good job. Come on, take a bad shot, take a shot. You got movement, Fred.
Under a minute left.
Because the wrestlers are familiar with each other because they have wrestled this year. For Baldacero having a 1-point win.
Back it up.
16 region titles for Bune in their history. Coming from 12 different wrestlers. Of course, 4 of them coming from Bobby Hansen, had just a terrific career.
An excellent career. Went on to wrestle in the collegiate ranks.
Baldacero trying to get that takedown. He got one. 15 seconds left. He gets the takedown. He has a 2-1 lead. And has his choice to start the third.
Because he wants to break the man down. He don't just want to lay there on top of him because time runs out.
Head coach Doug Castellari. Life Coach has a title in 1979.
So he knows the experience of the exhilaration of winning a regional title, just like Greg Sawyer does, the Delsey coach.
Delsey's won 29 region titles, 22 different wrestlers doing it.
Angela DeJoseph, assistant coach with Greg Sawyer, is one of the most astute people in the room when you're having a seating meeting.
Matter of fact, Angelo was a region champ back in the 88 votes for Cumberland.
Cumberland Regional.
119 pounds.
So it's nice to have in your corner coaching you 2 former regional champions. They know what it takes. They know the mentality when you reach this point.
Baldacero with the 3-1 lead, and he's still going after Shea, Vogue.
Oh my.
Almost had that locked up, huh?
Almost an ear side cradle.
Pops his head, there he goes. He gets another takedown, 5-1 lead, a minute left.
Very methodical moves. Greg Sawyer can just sit back and in a more relaxing mode, watch what's going on.
Up, Fred, up. Up where you're at, go. Where you're at, Freddie. Where you're at, Freddie. Oh, let's go.
Under 30 seconds.
One more this way, get a restart.
Delsey has a pretty good 45-pounders. Kronberger, who won over 20 matches, he's only a sophomore, so looking up and down their lineup, they can get a couple upper weights. They're going to make some noise in that Tri-County Royal. And remember, Kingsway's losing a lot. Just seems like they can retool so easy because of their youth program, but Delsey could make some noise over there.
Just a matter of, as we mentioned earlier, just filling in a couple spots. Keep a solid nucleus together.
Final 10 seconds, and this guy's just so impressive, Rich.
Very methodical.
Final score, 5-1.
Here we go on that one.
Anthony Baldacero. 5-1 win. He's our champ at 135, and we get ready for the award ceremony at 130.
Fourth place from Bedford Township.
As we see the Sawyer and the Joseph greeting Baldacero.
John
Meanwhile, at 130 pounds, John Renard of Kingsway finishing in third. Aaron Wilcox of Shalleck, there you see, is the second place finisher, and Matt Catalano of Highland is your Region 8 champ.
And the interesting thing, through that weight class, every champion so far has been an underclassman, with the exception of 119 with Matos of St. Augustine. You had a freshman, a senior, a sophomore, and a freshman.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say a senior will win here, Votes, because we have two seniors, Chris Vicente, a senior from Triton, and Scott Ware, a senior from Clayton.
Scott Ware, 34-1 this year. Chris Vicente, 36-4.
And look at Ware right on the attack, which he usually starts off strong.
Certainly does.
Don't hang, don't use
Ware, the number 1 seed, comes in here with a quarterfinal round fall over Nick Mazzarone of Oakcrest, and then an 8-2 win over Joey Police of West Deptford, who he met in the District 29 final.
And in the Tri-County Colonial Showcase, it's their third meeting in less than 4 weeks, I think.
Right. Chris Vicente, the number 7 seed, knocked off Ryan. He actually opened up with a win over Ryan Home, a fall in the second period, beat Ryan Dorman of Kingsway 8-5, and then beat Sparks of Shalleck 14-5.
He had a hard way, Vogue. He had the wrestle on Tuesday night.
Yes.
Ware once again in on the shot and gets the takedown and a 2-0 lead. Clayton has never had a region champ, Vogue.
Now they might have their first tonight. Scott Ware is as technically sound as any wrestler we've seen this year.
If Vicente could pull this out, he could be up there with one of the possible outstanding wrestler nominees. Coming back from not winning his district, having to wrestle Tuesday night, he would be knocking off the top 2 seeds.
Yeah, he knocked off the number 2 seed his first time out, and then knocked off the number 3 seed his second in the semifinals. Of course, Ware you've talked to before this year, and you know the desires he has to be a champion.
Absolutely. Like we said before, though, the thing that impressed us both about Ware was during the season, it was team first. Once the team to get in the playoffs, then the individual stuff would come second.
Dan Antonelli, the coach of Scott Ware. Clayton, Joe Robinson, the coach of Vicente.
Another takedown now, 4-1.
Joe Robinson collecting a lot of permission forms for the Senior Classic, getting as many seniors to fill out the forms as possible so you're not chasing them after the state tournament. So it's a lot more fun to be here sitting in the corner in the finals than going around chasing permission forms. Back points. Very technical. Very sound.
Looks like he's got 2, right, Bud? Almost had the big, got 3.
Yep.
7-1, there's Bob Tunstall, the assistant, there's Antonelli.
Of course, Tunstall was a 2-time district champion at Clayton, in which Ware duplicated this year with his second district title. Joe Robinson in blue shirt is the Triton coach.
First, Bob Tunstall, Vogue, in 1977 was runner-up to Joe Wade of Paulsburg. Didn't Wade win a state title?
Yes.
Also that match 6-3. Another takedown. Wow.
Oh my.
Mission, on a mission,
Oh
Vogue.
my. Oh my.
Got 2 back. It's 11-1.
The corner questioning why it wasn't a fall, and the assistant official indicating that one shoulder was out of bounds. Scott Ware this year, 33-1 coming into this bout. His only loss was to a wrestler by the name of Solano from Holy Spirit.
At 152 pounds.
Up, absolutely, up. Vicente coming in here 36-4. That's lost to Brett Hummel of Gateway, lost to Jackson Brady of Camden Catholic, lost to Preston Kiefer of Eastern, and lost to John Bacaucus of Hamilton by a point.
Stay low.
108 to wrestle here in a second. It's all Scott Ware.
Go get it, go get it.
Constant motion. Vicente trying to reverse him. Did he get the two?
No.
Got one. It's 11-2.
I think the only flaw that we have seen in the armor of Scott Ware this year has been stamina
In the third period.
Yeah, late into a match. His great intensity when he comes out early in a match.
Now go!
We're trying to pick that ankle.
It's going to be difficult there on the out of bounds line. Just run out of room.
You know, we talk about Clayton Voge never having a champ. There's another takedown, 13-2. Triton hasn't had a region champ since 1962.
Wow. Who was?
Ken Warrington. Actually, they had three that year. Sam Gimarello, Howard Moore, Ken Warrington. Well, you know why? Because there was Triton Red, Triton Blue, Triton. No, just Triton Blue, right?
Well, it started out as Triton at the original school. Then when they split, it went to Triton Red. Actually, it was Triton Red, Triton Blue in the same building. And then when Triton Red actually became Highland.
Okay. Triton Blue had Ron Gambone win a couple times, 1966 and 67, but Triton itself, 1962, last champ. Third period, 13-2 lead, Scott Ware of Clayton.
And unless Scott Ware has a complete meltdown, Triton go another year before they stop that bleeding.
I've seen something like this, Vogue, by the way, in the NCAA finals. Wasn't it a few years back? Might have been a Lehigh guy was getting beat pretty bad. Look at that, we talked about it right there.
Yep.
Oh, look at Ware, though.
Yep. Gonna have a reversal by Vicente and back points, and just that quick, Ware comes off his back, gets the reversal back,
And more back points. So
get more back points.
Let's see if we can keep track of this. And we have injury time. Ware's asking for some injury time. Or is it blood time? Blood time. Trying to get the score straight. We have 17-6, which is correct.
Yes, because it was a 2-2 move by Vicente before Ware came back and got their reversal and back points just before the blood time. What were you saying about the collegiate ranks?
I believe it was a couple of years ago, 2-3. A guy from Lehigh was getting to be pretty bad, I believe, and came back and pinned this guy, or maybe Penn, but I remember that happening.
Cement mixer.
That's all it takes, one move. We almost, as we were saying, and we almost saw it. We almost saw it wasn't as bad. A guy 4 or 5 points down today in the consies. And we saw Capella from Absegami try to save move 3 or 4 times, and finally on the 4th move with 5 seconds left, went for it all, which at that point is what you got to do.
Yep.
Who cares if you lose by 5, 6, 9?
Got the takedown, took his man right to his back. And how much time left?
It was like 2 or 3 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, 2 seconds, got the fall.
And he kept trying that move.
Yep. And finally paid off.
Now 17-7.
Of course, Craig Capella, the younger brother of Kyle Capella.
How about doing a region final and not having an Absegami wrestler in the final?
Yeah, it's pretty unusual. Pretty unusual. Well, that's the cycle. They've hit a little bit of a down cycle now. They'll be back because they had a very young team this year. Well, I think the impressive thing in this match is the stamina that Scott Ware has shown.
Stalemate.
Well, this is where Vicente has to go for broke.
No stall calls for Ware, so he can just play it safe.
And as long as he's got a leg locked up like that, his opponent's not going to take him down.
Seconds. Vicente's got to go for the big move now. If you're Ware, just stay away, and that's what he's going to do. Final score 17-7. Scott Ware Clayton is Clayton's first region champ. Going to add something in the book, Vogue. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. More wrestling after this timeout. Back at Absegami, the place winners at 135, Josh Berman of St. Joe's Hamilton, Fred Shea of Buna finishing second, and Anthony Baldessaro of Delsey is your champ at 135 pounds. And Vogue, we get ready for 145. We have returning region champ Mark Haig of Kingsway. He's the #1 seed going against the 3 seed Dan Willing of Williamstown.
Mark Haig, as you mentioned, the #1 seed, entering the bout with a 29-7 record. His opponent Dan Willing, a junior from Williamstown, enters the match with a 35-4 record. Right on the attack.
These two wrestled earlier. There you see how they got here, Vogue.
Mark Haig in the second round beat Scott Kronberger 6-0, and then he beat Dave Folk of Absegami 3-1, a very technical match. Willing with a 2-point win over John Hughes of Clearview, and then beat Ryan Grusemeyer of Buna 6-4. Folk came back and placed third with a 11-8 win over Grusemeyer.
Of course, these two met earlier in the year with Haig winning a 7-5 decision.
Just one of the big losses by Haig this year was to Jackson Brady of Camden Catholic 5-1, and that Kingsway lost to Camden Catholic early in the year.
Haig's most impressive win, though, when he tech-fault the freshman Preston Kiefer of Eastern in the Virginia Duels.
No question. 94 career wins for Haig.
Would easily be over 100, but I think he has missed most of his, freshman or sophomore year votes due to an injury.
And did not place in the districts as a freshman, was second as a sophomore, first the last 2 years. And was first in the region last year. Willing 34-4 going into this match. Lost to Sparks from Shalik 2 times. Lost to Haig 7-5 and lost to Clement from Christianburg down in the Virginia duels.
And if your book's right, Butch, Williamstown hasn't had a region champ since '97.
Well, why would my book be incorrect?
No, I'm not saying it's incorrect. Which was Nick Lopez, who the following year I think wrestled at Washington Township and won another region title.
Yep.
The big name out of Williamstown obviously is Brett Denovi, former state champ, 2-time region champ.
Who was inducted into the South Jersey Wrestling Hall of Fame this last year.
4-0 now in favor of Haig.
Got it. There it is. Get under. There you go. Whip it. Take the floor. Come here. Arch, come here. Arch, right there. Come out.
Haig looking for his second region crown. In control halfway through this one with a 4-0 lead. You're verifying those numbers, huh, Coach?
Well, it seems to me it's strange. I thought that Williamstown had.
That's what I thought. I was looking there too.
And they had Winkelspeck, who was second last year. I thought I remembered a regional champion was a regional finalist.
That's what surprised me a little bit. That's all.
That's very surprising. But Danny Calhoun went into that program and, of course, had good success with it the last 2 years. And he stepped down this year, and John Jernigan took over for him. Jernigan, an assistant coach under Calhoun.
Keep working up there, Mark. Good work.
Haig trying to repeat. Trying to become only the second wrestler in Kingsway history to win 2 region crowns.
And of course, Kingsway has had some pretty good successful wrestlers compete in the region tournament.
3 champs last year, Village, Renard, Haig, and Widener. Brandon Becker was the only 2-time region champ.
Widener now in the college ranks.
So stall warning against Willing, under 20 seconds left. 4-0 lead in the second period. Mark Haig of Kingsway.
And of course, John Menard lost earlier in the tournament. So
But he does advance.
Haig, oh yeah, absolutely. But Haig is carrying the banner.
Kingsway with a couple more wrestlers at 60 and 71. We're going to see Mark Gattuso at 160. Tom McCauley at 171. And Haig will take that 4-0 lead into the third period.
Again, very fundamentally sound.
When you get a program like that, Vogue, when they have balance, I mean, the workouts are probably good because you're getting good competition in practice. There you see McConnell on the left, Whedon on the right.
And when you have wrestlers surrounding you who are good, your work habits become better.
There's a reversal, 6-0.
Very determined performance by Haig.
Remember, Willing only a junior, so he's got another year.
And of course, only lost to Haig by 2 points when they wrestled previously.
There you see the Williamstown coaches.
I believe that's John Jernigan on the right.
Down. Pump it. And then swing.
They just, you talked about it, just doing what he has to do now. And he's tough on top of this match.
just want to stay out of trouble.
I was just going to say, no stall warnings yet.
Well, then again, that was because of the parallel ride. You have to get perpendicular, show that you're working for a fall. And when you have a comfortable lead, there's no sense taking a chance. And of course, you can afford a stall call.
Right.
40. There you go, cross it. Pull that back, Mark. Take the leg.
Very methodical.
Anchor right.
Well, focus vote. You talked about it. Seems that like they were a little off going into districts. You mentioned that on our show last week because you said not much time to prepare. They had some school being closed with some inclement weather or some power problems and not getting a whole lot of practice time. But you said they'd be ready for this week, and they have been.
Yeah, that was a point awarded to Willing for a stall.
So it's now 6-1,
which is meaningless at this point. But yeah, you know, when you're on a high and go out there and win a state title, and then the next week you see the escape, which is going to make the final score 6-2. When you go out there the following week and don't have a full week of practice.
The final score is 6-2. Mark Haig of Kingsway, our winner. At 145. Now we get ready for our presentations, by the way, as we see Haig. We get ready for presentation of the place winners at 140 pounds. And at third place, we have Mike DeGalbo of St. Augustine finishing third. In second, Chris Vicente of Triton was the second place finisher. And our champion in 2007, Region 8, 140 pounds, Scott Ware from Clayton High School. Okay, folks, we get ready for 152 pounds. Dustin Deckard of Pennsville, the #1 seed. And he's going up against Scott Kelly of Sacred Heart, the #7 seed. So you see the place winner. So here we go, getting ready, 152 pounds.
Dustin Deckard, as you mentioned, a junior, 31-2. Scott Kelly, 31-3, and a junior.
Mind our viewers, Vogue lost his voice, coming back.
Dustin Deckard, of course, has been a regional participant before, twice a regional runner-up, once at Pennsville, once at Camden Catholic. This year, he is advanced with a 47-second fall against Matt Interlante of Timber Creek, and then with a technical fall over Anthony Williams of Triton. Kelly had to wrestle 3 times to get this far. 16-2 win over Josh Kerr of West Deptford, then a 4-3 win over Jeff Hamilton, who was a regional place winner last year, and then a forfeit win over Eric DeShields of Lower Cape May. DeShields got hurt in the quarterfinals, could not continue, so Kelly got a walkover to get to the finals.
Yeah, you talk about Deckard vote. She was a finalist at 119 in Region 8. He lost 3-1 to Aaron Wilcox in that match, and then last year he was a finalist at 130 and lost 3-2 to Chris Noddy, but I don't think he's going to be denied tonight. Has a 2-0 lead.
Dustin Deckard, 30 wins and 2 losses this year. One was to early season tournament out at St. Edwards in Ohio. He lost 13-4. And then he lost to Rob Whedon of Kingsway, 3-1 in overtime.
Him and Whedon vote 3 overtime matches this year. Unbelievable.
Yes. And of course, Deckard started here at Camden Catholic. That's where he beat Whedon in overtime in that match, that dual meet.
Right.
Later transferred back to Pennsville and is going for a regional title. He has been a 3-time district champion, second in the Region 8 as a freshman, and second in Region 7 last year.
Sacred Heart looking for their first region champion. Of course, Pennsville Village has a storied history in wrestling. Some really good teams, and they haven't had a champ since '95.
Yes.
Decker starts the bottom in the second with a 2-0 lead.
Scott Kelly, 31-3. His 3 losses this year. The Sparks of Shalleck by a point. The Wheaton of Kingsway by a point. His other loss was a disqualification because of a slam. So you can't look past him. 2 on-the-mat losses that were very, very close.
And only a junior.
Of course, Deckard a junior too, so they're both juniors.
Three 0 lead for Decker.
Good job. You're fine. Stop, it's fine.
Notice the low center of gravity that Deckard gets. And when he forces his man down to that low center of gravity, controls the head, spins behind, gets a takedown.
5-0 lead.
Pretty smart maneuver by Deckard.
Go bar, fist it, 1-1 or big cookie. 1-1 or big cookie. Good job, block, shoulder block, work to the head. Work this, good job, work it. Smart Joe. Good job, go 1-1. Work this, let's go, you're fine. Good job, just 1-1, fist it. Elbow.
Deckard trying to bar the arm.
Good job, go for it. Good job, half it, you're fine. Good job.
Time running out in the period.
Far side, shoulder block. Good position. Good job. Look for the hand. Good job.
Decker will take a 5-0 lead into the third.
Very comfortable lead. Kelly decides might be a little tough to get off the bottom, so he takes a neutral position.
See if Decker tries that same approach, working from his knees.
See, when he lowers his base, it's very, very hard to get in on his legs.
Try and get in, maybe push on the head, spin around, get a takedown. Is that your best option when you're going up against somebody like that?
Oh yeah. But notice when Kelly gets in tight with him in a tie-up, Deckard gets back to his feet.
Under a minute to go. 5-0 lead. Dustin Deckard of Pennsville.
There's a nice dump attempt. Kelly's not fearful out there.
Well, you talked about his 2 losses on the mat were 1-point matches.
Right.
And then the slam. We're not sure what the score was at that point, but time winding down. Dustin Decker trying to pick up another trophy for District 31. Kelly takes his shot, 4 seconds left. So Dustin Deckard is going to make his 3rd trip to the finals a successful one. We'll get that out. His first region title. Final score 5-0. So a title for Pennsville, their first championship since 1995. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this timeout. Back at 145-pound place winners, Ryan Grissmeyer of Buno finishing, Fulp of Absegami finishing third, Dave Fulp. Dan Willing of Williamstown second, and Mark Haig of Kingsway is your region champ at 145 pounds for the second consecutive year. 160 pounds, it's Mike Cucinato of Paulsboro and Mark Gattuso of Kingsway.
A pair of seniors. Cucinato comes in as the number 1 seed. Gattuso of Kingsway comes in as the number 2 seed.
These two met votes in that Tri-County Colonial Showcase. Gattuso and Cucinato, that went down to what, the last overtime?
Yes, right at I believe. 31-8, the record for Gattuso this year. Cucinato 35-4.
We're going to reset them in the center. 134 left.
Cucinato opened up with a 8-4 win over Cameron Argood of Gateway.
I don't know if we have looking for a contact or some blood or what they were looking for on the mat.
And then had a 4:45 fall over Ben Lloyd of Delsey. Gattuso, the number 2 seed, opened up with a 7-3 win over Mike Gamble of Buna. Had a 10-2 win over James Hoffman of Millville. And then in the semifinals, a 5-2 win over Zach Augustino of Egg Harbor Township.
And that Zach Augustino is going to be a good one too, Voj. I watched him. He came back to finish third. Just a freshman, came into the tournament 28-2.
Cucinato's 4 losses this year. Lost to Joey Falco of Ocean Township. Lost to Dan Tunston of Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania. Lost to Ken Carney of Jackson. And lost to Alex Mead of Cesar Rodney.
Everybody loses to Alex Mead of Cesar Rodney, Voj.
Yes.
Get on his wrist! Get on his wrist!
I know we've said this before, but it's very interesting. Cucinato, probably the hardest worker on the Paulsboro team. Someone who didn't get a lot of laurels last year, but has worked very, very hard this season. He goes to 71 as a junior, and then 160 pounds this year. Gattuso in on the legs. Very good position to try and get a takedown.
Nothing yet. 3 seconds left. And we're going to end the period scoreless.
Wow. Good attempt by Gattuso.
Please report to the awards podium.
Cucinato will start the second period down.
Tuso went 140 last year, Voj.
So he's up a weight, up 2 weights, 3 weights. And Cucinato, of course, down 1 weight.
Tuso trying to get Cucinato locked up.
He's got him in the cradle. We can turn him. As we've said this before too, Cucinato gets in some very bizarre positions out there.
Trying to escape. Gone here in the second, still scoreless. There's the escape. We're 1-0. Mike Cucinato. Folks, forgot to mention this when Duca won at 112. Paulsboro's now won what? 38 straight years they've had a region title winner?
At least one regional winner, which is bizarre, really. I mean, it boggles the mind with all the great teams over the years who have had regional champions.
Paulsboro's at 93 in the history of the school. 63 different wrestlers winning region titles.
Yeah, I think Tyrone Hamilton probably started that streak back in 1971.
Cucinotta trying to get that takedown. Gattuso trying to fight him off.
Oh my.
Oh, Cucinotta's got him. No points yet for a
Nothing.
takedown, though, Vogt. So there's not going to be any back points, so he gets a takedown.
he's
There's
got
the takedown, and there's the back points.
Oh my.
14 seconds left in the period. Gattuso will hold on. Not get pinned. He's going to find himself down 6-0. Took a while there before the takedown was called.
Cucinotta, oh, so close to getting a fall.
Here's that move.
Now watch him throw his hips around. There goes his hips over. Now he's going to reach. He's got a possible headlock right there. Still does not have control. He has to establish control. You see the arm around the body there. He has to break that. Get belly down. Then he gets control, and then he starts to back out.
We have an escape. 5 seconds into the period. 6-1 now. Cucinotta leads Gattuso.
Cucinotta just a tireless worker. I know we've mentioned it before, but he runs in the morning. He runs after practice.
Gattuso went on that leg, trying to make a comeback in this match.
And you see Cucinotta's trying to spin out of it.
Potentially dangerous.
Yep. Gattuso trying to control the head. Tried to shuck Cucinotta's side, spin behind. Again, a good shot by Gattuso. Gets the takedown.
6-3. We'll see what happens here, how long he tries to work from the top position, or if he decides to cut him and go for a big move. Nobody's been hit yet for warnings.
Cucinotta wants to try and push up off the bottom. There's a stalling warning
against Cucinotta. 20 seconds left, 6-3 lead. Now Gattuso's going to have to try and turn him now. Only 8 seconds left. Cucinotta does a nice job hooking onto that leg, and he's going to win a title at 160 pounds. Final score 6-3. Mike Cucinotta, Paulsboro. Great match, folks.
Certainly was.
One big move, that's all it takes. There you see the Paulsboro coaching staff. The 94th time Paulsboro's had a region winner. 64th different wrestler. As we take a look, seen this before, there you can see Big Nick, Mike's dad, picking him up. Emotional scene right there. 152 place winners. Rob Whedon of Kingsway in third. Scott Kelly of Sacred Heart is third, or second. And Dustin Deckard of Pennsville, your 2007 Region 8 champion at 152 pounds. Okay, Vogt, 171 pounds. Tom McCauley of Kingsway. And Brian Donahue, the 6th seed of Middle Township.
Tom McCauley compares the #1 seed, 32-7 this year, a senior. Brian Donahue of Middle Township, 32-2. He's also a senior, but he's going to have his hands full.
You talk about a murderous schedule, McCauley, and we'll get to that in a second, Vogt. Like when you look at his losses and the weight classes he's lost in, it's unreal. But anyway, he has a 2-0 lead, and he has Donahue in a little bit of trouble early.
Oh,
He
my.
might have him in a lot of trouble early, Vogt. Still no back points.
McCauley's wrestled 3 times to get to this spot. Won 11-5 in his first match. Won by a technical fall against Flannery of West Deptford in the second match.
Brings
And
him
then
right back down.
won 4-2 in the semifinals. That brought him right to this bout.
There you say it.
Here's how McCauley got there.
And this is a strong weight class, Vogt. You see Greenwald, Paulsboro, one time ranked in the state.
Yeah, Zach Greenwald, of course, lost to McCauley in that showcase.
Right.
And a much closer bout this time, but McCauley, the tested veteran, excelled.
And there you see Donahue with a bye in the first round. Beat Starkovich of Pennsville 6-5 and Hassett 6-3 to get here.
Yep.
But man, look at some of these losses, Vogt. And you know, the weight classes, like he loses to Posh of Camden Catholic 3-2, but I think he may have went 2-15 in that match. Spellman, everybody loses to Tom Spellman of Kittatinny. Starkovich, Siciliano is one of the top 89 pounders in the, that was in the what, Group 3 tournament.
Yes. So, I mean, as you mentioned, a murderous schedule for him as an individual.
He has a 2-1 lead now.
Donahue only 2 losses coming in this bout, but I don't know if he's met anyone as talented as McCauley. One of the losses that Donahue had was to C.J. Delia of Clearview, 3-0.
And McCauley's beaten him a few times this year. Middle Township,
Yep,
never had a region title, Vogt.
yep. 31 wins for McCauley this year, 90 career wins. Donahue with 31 wins this year, 79 career wins. In
McCauley wrestled 71 last year, Vogt.
district competition, Donahue was injured his freshman year and then placed third, and first the last 3 trips to the districts. McCauley first 2 years ago, second this year, 4th in the region last year.
Lost to John Campbell of St. Augustine, who I believe is wrestling for Jesse Castro this year.
Yes, he is. St. Augustine boy.
Might be a Glassboro boy wrestling at St. Augustine, actually.
Well, yeah, lives in Glassboro,
Yeah.
Glassboro resident, but wrestled at St. Augustine.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yep. 2-2 the score.
Donahue lost in the first round of this tournament last year, Vogt. Dan Vignola of Delsey.
The further you go, the harder it gets.
2-2 in the second.
And McCauley certainly can't look past his opponent. He's got a regional title to try and win.
McCauley, the third Kingsway wrestler we've seen tonight. Bushby at 125. He just went up against the buzzsaw and Anthony Luma. Mark Haig winning at 145. He's actually the 4th.
Yeah.
We had Gattuso. We just saw at 160. McCauley at 171. He's got that leg. See if he can finish. And he got the takedown.
That's a 2.
Now 4-2.
Middle Township coached by Scott Abbott.
Let's go. 13 seconds left in the period.
4-2 McCauley.
Hey, next year we'll try and do one of those hair dye things, Vogt, like the Kingsway wrestlers. Actually had the coaches do it right after they won the title.
Well,
All but one of the coaches did it.
the escape makes it 4-3.
Sure, it's a point McCauley didn't want to give up that late in the period.
No, not that late. You have to really be mentally focused.
It's his choice, though. He'll take bottom in the third. Up 4-3.
You never like to give away late points in a bout.
Middle Township, I believe, was the home of that Ryan Goodman for his freshman year, Coach.
Before he moved to
Absegami.
Absegami. And interestingly, Ryan Goodman is having a great year at North Carolina State this year. I think he's 18-2 going into the ACC tournament. And his
Tonight, too.
older brother Randy is on that squad at North Carolina State. Randy wrestled at Middle Township.
He's in the far corner, it looks like, Vogue. I can tell by that hair. Furthest corner from us, on the other side of the gym. 5-3 lead McCauley.
I know he came home this weekend because I was talking with Joey Melchiori's wife, and Joey Melchiori has a wrestling club called the Sidewinder Club, and Goodman came home to get a little bit of a workout before the ACC tournament next week.
Donahue's got to try for the takedown, but McCauley's the one in on the leg, and he's going to get the takedown.
Nice move, nice takedown.
Thought they teach it, 7-3.
And with 45 seconds to go, all he's got to do is just stay composed out there, and he's got himself a Region 8 title.
Because this is a loaded weight class with Trungone from Camden Catholic, Kyle Kiss, Tom Spellman to escape at 7-4. And remember last year, everybody thought Spellman and Kiss, and Trungone beat them both and ended up in the final before losing to Hogan, I think, from Cranford. So you never know.
Never know. When you get this far.
Yeah, I know. No guppies, just sharks. Barracudas, yeah.
Everybody has a great deal of talent. And if you're not in shape by this time of the season, you'll never be in shape for wrestling. It's all mental preparedness at this point.
7 seconds left. And Donahue goes right at him. That's what you got to do. Take the shot. Doesn't matter if you lose by 5. Tom McCauley wins a title. Second one tonight for Kingsway. Final score is 7-4. Two titles for Kingsway tonight. I don't know if you have your breakdown, if you're doing it by districts, but
The 160-pound place winner in fourth place.
31's doing pretty well.
James Hoffman.
Delsey has at least one. Pennsville, Kingsway 2. By the way, place winners at 160 pounds. Zach Augustino of Egg Harbor finishing third. Mark Gattuso from Kingsway finishing in second. And our champ at 160 pounds, Mike Cuccinata of Paulsboro with a 6-3 win in the final over Gattuso of Kingsway.
Of course, with that title that was just won, that moved District 31 into the lead in this tournament with 4 regional champions.
29 has 3, right?
29 has 3, 32 has 3, and 1 for 30.
And we got 30 has a representative here. Joe Briscoe, a sophomore from Highland. 32-3, Mac Mancuso, a sophomore from Holy Spirit. 31-3.
Kind of anticlimactic, so to speak, for this match because Mac Mancuso getting to the finals won his first match by technical fall.
Wrong weight class here.
I'm sorry.
There we go. Forfeit, and then Gerald Hodges.
That was because of the wrestler who broke his collarbone from Woodstown, so he won by forfeit, and then he won by 2-1 in the second overtime over Gerald Hodges. That was a great match. 1-1 after regulation, 1-1 after the first 1 minute of overtime, still 1-1. And Joe Grisco advanced with a win over Laverne Harris of Glassboro, 7-0, and then beat the number 2 seed, Bill Damiana of Lower Cape May, 9-6.
Well, Laverne Harris, folks, what a story that kid is. 3-19 last year, 3 wins and 19 losses for Camden High. This year at Glassboro, gets to the district final and makes it to regions. That's a nice little comeback, huh?
Certainly is. I mean, Frank Damager's got to be very happy that the kid hung in there. And he's a junior, so he'll be back.
No points awarded there. This is the weight class we talked about. 4 sophomores reaching the semifinals. So this is going to be some pretty good upper weights coming our way in South Jersey the next few years. Whether it's stay at 89, go 215, or eventually heavyweight.
Mac Mancuso, 30-3 this year, has 3 losses. Hard to believe he has 3 losses. All 3 were in the Beast of the East.
Well, he lost 1 match in the Beast, but beat that guy also.
Yes. And he had 30 wins, 35 wins last year, so he's got 65 wins and 6 losses in his 2 years.
And there's the takedown. It's 2-0.
Notice the movement out there. He's just constantly in movement out there.
You know, it's funny, but very interesting. He is on pace to wrestle Jamal Jones in the finals of the Beast. Got to the semifinals. He had already beaten the one wrestler, I think, once. Pushback, lost 3-2 in the semis. Actually, couldn't have beat. That wasn't the guy who he lost to before. But lost to Pushback 3-2, and then Pushback ends up getting pinned by Jones in the final.
Yeah.
Odo was the guy he lost to and beat in the Beast.
Briscoe with 25 wins as a freshman, 33 wins this year. So he has 58 wins against only 9 losses at this point.
3-0 lead for Mancuso.
Mancuso, a 2-time district champion, returning regional champion, who was 6th in the state. Briscoe won his first district title this last year.
He burst onto the scene. I mean, obviously he was doing well up to the region finals, but when he beat Jones last year in that region final, I think a lot of people took notice, just like Anthony Luma.
Oh, absolutely.
Trying to take that shot. Let's try and spin around and get the 2. He does, 5-0. I know people down from our area, District 29 areas, would have loved to see Hodges in the opposite bracket, and that's where it was originally before they had to reseed, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't even a, well,
It's not really called a reseed, but they had to reshuffle the deck.
Reshuffle. It was a reseed because the Hodges was the number 6 seed, so the number 4 seed without any injury. So 5 moved to 4, 6 moved to 5, 7 moved to 6, 8 moved to 7. That's why Mancuso had a forfeit win to start out, and why Hodges ended up in the semifinals against Mancuso.
Well, coming in today, Holy Spirit only had 2 region titles in the history of the school, and one of those is Mancuso, and they can double that today with Boylan's effort at 103, and Mancuso up right now 5-0 in the second.
Oh, they have 2 outstanding wrestlers in Boylan and Mancuso.
Of course, they have Garrett, too, who's only a junior, at 130.
Suck it in! Suck it in! To the back! Penn State it! Penn State it! Who's got loose? Gonna get point! There it is!
And by having the success that they've had in this last year with individual wrestlers, sometimes that will encourage other wrestlers to join them.
Yeah. Well, let's face it, it is easier for parochial schools sometimes. Not all the time. Because you got to pay that freight.
That's true. Briscoe works an escape.
Now 5-1. Voice is sounding better, Voge, as we go along.
Doesn't feel better.
Mancuso's just going to spin around. That's an easy takedown, Voge. 7-1. Maybe it's easy because he's that good.
Well, you push the head down, you spin behind. If you're on the bottom, if you're in that position, you got to get your arms out and block that move. And fatigue can set in. Mancuso just seems very energized. It doesn't look like he gets tired out there.
1 minute. 1 minute.
I think he just had a peek at the clock to see how much longer he has to be out there. There's no question, he and Hodges had this crowd on their feet in the semifinals.
Oh, yeah. Just complete control.
Yeah.
Crowd's not as loud this year for him as it was last year. There's a warning against Briscoe.
Well, last year you had Jones here, who came in much ballyhooed after being a two-time state champion in Delaware.
And a Beast champion.
And a Beast champion, and by the way, went back to Delaware this year.
And won another Beast of East championship.
Get a back count there with the tilt.
It's going to be 11-1 the final. Mancuso wins. Should have a good one coming up here, Voge, at 2:15. We're going to take a break. We'll have that 215-pound match when we come right back. The award ceremony at 171, and we have in third place Hassett of Williamstown finishing third. Donahue from Middle Township second, and Tom McCauley of Kingsway, your 2007 region champ at 171 pounds. Now we go, Voge. Couple good ones at 215. Alex Silvestro, 37-1.
37-1.
Paulsboro. Mike Daniels, 32-1 from Highland. We had a chance to see Daniels 33-1, I should say, and Silvestro is actually 38-1.
Silvestro comes in as the #1 seed. Daniels is the #2 seed, so 1 and 2 are meeting. Both headed to college next year. Silvestro going to Rutgers, Daniels to Iowa. There's Silvestro's wins, 130 over Santiago of Egg Harbor Township, and then by fall over Cody Berry of Kingsway. Daniels opened up with a 232 fall over Tyler Smith of Triton, and then pinned Craig Capella of Absegami in the semifinals. Full ride to Iowa for Daniels, as we mentioned. Full ride to Rutgers for Silvestro. Silvestro 37-1 this year. A 4-time district champion. Has been fourth, second, and second in 3 trips to the Region 8 tournament.
Got that leg again, trying to get a takedown, and got it. 4-1 lead, 57 seconds in.
6th and 4th in 2 state placements. 131-15 in his career. Daniels 4th, 2nd, and 1st in 3 district appearances.
No escape. They were out. We didn't get to see a whole lot of Daniels when we saw him in that Tri-County match, because he just went out and pinned his man right away.
Yeah.
Very physical, obviously a great athlete, going to Iowa, full scholarship for football. Same, and Sylvester going to Rutgers, full scholarship for football.
Yeah,
And he's got him in a little bit of trouble, rolled through.
like to give you his full breakdown of his career, but the coaching staff didn't put everything down.
Well, didn't wrestle his freshman year, that's the deal. I could do some quick math for you, Boach, while you watch this match.
Silvestro in complete control out there. Barring the arm. It's a move that's worked a lot for him this year. I think he's taking a look, see how much time is left.
86-12 in his career. Did not wrestle his freshman year. Gonna get some back points. Can he get some in time? 3 seconds left. He's gonna get at least 2 back points. 2 back. 6-1. Silvestro just on fire. On fire. I think the job he did against Boyden from Brearley in the Group 1 final.
Yes.
He's picking.
Boyden had that one loss in the state all-star meet.
So it is 37-1 Silvestro's record. We have it incorrect there.
Yeah, 37-1. Gonna buy the first
round.
First round, as that doesn't count as a win. Forfeit would, but not a buy. Well, just 2 marvelous careers. Silvestro and the wrestler is going to follow him. Hester. They've been bookends at the top of the lineup for 3 years now. Daniel's up to his feet, trying to get away. Saul Silvestro's only lost in a Council Rock tournament, and I think since then he has re-energized himself, and I think he wants to place as high as he can in the state.
I would think it's Roy Dragon and him at 215, the people to beat. You could very well see them in the final. I'm sure when the brackets come out, they're going to be placed on opposite sides. And I think Dragon beat Alex last year 1-0 in the tournament in the wrestlebacks for 3rd and 4th place.
Uh-oh. Daniels could be in trouble here, but he's very strong. With most wrestlers, when Silvestro threw that leg in that time and tried to turn his man, lesser wrestlers, I think, would have gone over.
More back
points.
Going to
get more back points here.
More back, who will be up 9-1.
Oh my. Oh my.
Minimum 9-1 if he doesn't finish it here.
Oh my.
Plenty of time on the clock. Let's go, Silvester's trying to pull that leg out.
Oh my.
.28 seconds left. Daniels fights it off, but still in trouble. 9-1.
Silvestro trying to bar that arm again. He's going to run out of time in his period. He's going to turn him, but
might get 2 more back points.
Yeah, I just don't think he'll have time here.
Get 2 back. Does he get 2 or 3? 2 more back. He's up 11-1. Silvestro's choice takes bottom.
And you remember when we talked to Silvestro after his 4th district championship, how he alluded to the fact that he had unfinished business this year.
Once eluded him twice. He's been there in the finals, obviously against a pretty good wrestler. Corcoran ended up winning a state title last year.
Yeah, and Corcoran will be his teammate next year at Rutgers. But this is something that Silvestro, I'm sure, has been dreaming about. Trying to get a Peterson. Got to Peterson. That's a reversal.
And back points. just sit there and wait as long as he wants. Let the clock go. That's a tech fall.
How about that?
16-1, Voj. Highly anticipated match. Didn't live up to the billing there. Alex Silvestro just on fire. What a great match by Silvestro.
4:40 to time of the tech.
We're going to have the place winners as we see Silvestro getting his hand raised, winning his first region title. Fourth one tonight. Paulsboro trying to count here.
Paulsboro's third.
Hester's going to go for the fourth. 189 pounds. The third place finisher is Gerald Hodges, the sophomore from Paulsboro. There's Alex and his dad. Alex's dad with that Rutgers hat on. There's Hodges from Paulsboro getting his award at third place. Second place finisher is Joe Briscoe, the third seed out of Highland. And our champion for 2007, Mac Mancuso of Holy Spirit.
Underway now in the heavyweight class with Demetrius Hester, still unbeaten on the year, 37-0. Brian Tomasello, a senior. Excuse me.
Hester's 36-0, Voj. We're off by one on those records. And here's the takedown. These two wrestlers, by the way, at the beginning of the year, early on in the season, Hester won that match, 8-2.
Well, then you know that Hester's on a mission here. Here's his wins to get this far. He beat Rich Bilo of Timber Creek by a fall in the second period. He beat Flagel of Absegami by a fall in 52 seconds. Tomasello won his first match by a fall in 52 seconds against Lamar Archie of Washington Township, and in a first period fall against Dom Henriksen of Buna.
And we talk about Silvestro and Dragon on the collision course, Zach Ray and Hester on the collision course at the heavyweight.
Hester 132-12 heading into this match, a four-time district champion. He has twice been a Region 8 finalist, was first as a sophomore and second as a junior, was fifth in the state as a sophomore, second as a junior, going to the University of Delaware on a football scholarship. 3 losses for Tomasello this year, to Roy Dragon by fall in 38 seconds, to Hester 8-2, and to Anthony Canale of Shawnee 6-4.
Tomasello was hit for a warning.
Tomasello with 50 career wins.
Caution against Hester.
And where Hester has been more determined this year, in my opinion, is keeping his man on the mat, breaking him down, and then trying to set up some kind of a combination where he can turn his opponent.
Hester's choice, he takes top. Obviously he has a heavyweight, a lot of heavyweights confident, more on top than the bottom.
He's been showing a lot of speed this year coming off the bottom, but I think he wants to work on top, and one of his favorite moves is to bar the arm and then try and turn his man. So I think you'll see him working for the fall as diligently as he can.
Potentially dangerous.
Yeah, it becomes almost a chicken wing. You have to be careful how you get that arm trapped on the back.
Coach, don't mention food. I haven't eaten. Another caution, a second one on Hester.
Going into this bout, District 29, District 31, District 32, all with 4 regional champions. District 30 with 1.
This one's going to go to either 29 or 32.
Yes. And we'll break that deadlock.
4 votes have come from one school, so we don't know about the balance there of the districts. Hester frustrating Tomasello, but he can't turn him. Or maybe it's the other way around. I know Tomasello's been hit for a warning though.
Best way to stay out of trouble when you're a heavyweight is to keep your belly down on the mat.
We'll go back to the center. Just 26 seconds left. It's only 2-0. One thing though about heavyweights, I've seen a lot of matches that are low scoring and then all of a sudden third period, boom.
Yep.
Or late in the second. It'll be interesting to see what Tomasello's choice is in the third. He's having a tough time on the bottom.
Yes, he is.
He might just take top because he was taken down standing.
Well, he just may take the bottom again so he can belly down and not get pinned too. 2-0 after 2 periods.
Neutral.
He'll take the neutral.
Just a little surprised that he didn't take top.
Well, I think it was to make Hester make a mistake. This is how Hester lost a state championship last year against Zach Ray. Zach Ray frustrated him to the point where Hester, I thought, took a couple bad shots. Zach Ray capitalized on him, ended up winning a decision.
Yeah, but Zach Ray is also the 3rd or 4th ranked heavyweight in the country, Coach.
Not last year.
Not taking anything away, no, but.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, what Zach Ray did to him last year. He beat Zach Ray mid-season in an all-star meet. When they met in the state finals, Zach Ray had wrestled him once.
Right.
I think he felt he could frustrate him by forcing Hester to wrestle on his feet and take ill-advised shots.
Well, I'd have to say outstanding wrestler, by the way, Voj, as we wind down, has to be Joe Duca. Would you agree?
I would certainly think so.
Knocks off the #1 seed in the semifinals and then knocks off the #2 seed in overtime in the final. Time running out, under a minute, still 2-0 lead for Hester. There's the takedown by Hester, 4-0.
Well, this is a very sound and methodical performance by Hester.
There's another point, 5-0.
Interestingly tonight, 7 championships by seniors, 7 by underclassmen.
C.J. Mays, the last Oak Crest wrestler to win a region title. He won 4 of them. There's the escape, 5-1, 5 seconds left. There's a takedown. Oh, he flies through the air, Voj. 7-1. Final score, Demetrius Hester with his 2nd region title. 7-1. We'll take a break and come back and wrap it up after this. Timeout. There you see the 215-pound place winners. Capella of Absegami in 3rd, Daniels of Highland in 2nd, and Alex Silvestro of Paulsboro winning his 1st title right there. And there we go, the 215, and they go right into the heavyweight awards, Voj. And while we're getting our heavyweights ready, why don't you break that down by districts? District 29 ended up faring pretty well.
District 29 ended up with 5 champions. District 31 and District 32 each had 4, and District 30 had 1 champion.
And the fact that we were 7-7 with underclassmen and seniors winning titles was pretty interesting too. 7
seniors, 7 underclassmen, so that means we'll have 7 returning regional champions next year.
And obviously we're getting ready for the heavyweights to be awarded their medals. Your overall thought though, the whole day?
I think probably one of the most exciting matches all day. We missed filming because it was in the semifinals with Mac Mancuso and Gerald Hodges. It would not surprise me if both wrestlers would place at the state tournament next week.
Right, and I got to be very impressed. As we said, we talked about the underclassmen the whole match. Really looking forward to some of these kids from Delsey, see how they come on next year.
And of course, the other impressive thing, as as you mentioned, was Joe Duca and the job he did as a freshman. His father having won a couple titles, his uncle having won a title, and he won his first regional title.
And by the way, here we go. Archie, LeVar Archie of Washington Township finishing third. Tomasello of Oakcrest second, and Demetrius Hester of Paulsboro winning his second region title, winning it as a sophomore, finishing second last year and coming back and winning a title this year.
Kim was something like the third way. Not even Mickey Burchick-Hill. That's where he was sitting up in there with our guys.
So there we have our champs right there.
All right.
Well, you're lost and found, I just found out, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess that about wraps it up. It was a great day of wrestling, and we got one more match for us to cover on TV. That's that All-Star match, Region 7 Seniors Showcase, or whatever we call it. I don't even know. Region 7.
Region 7A versus Delaware Seniors Classic.
Seniors Classic against the Delaware.
We'll be talking wrestling again because we will review what's coming up in the state tournament.
Well, there you see the names at the bottom of the screen. They're the people that made this event possible here on Channel 5. For the entire crew and John Vogeting, I'm John Mondelli. We'll see you next time.